I was born into a cult. My life has been plagued with power dynamics and with hierarchies. That has just been, and if you look at my human design chart, if you know anything about human design, all of my centers are lit up except for one. And I can't remember what it's called. It's like in the left quadrant of your body, and it's the one that has to do with like power and control. And when it's unlit up, that essentially means that you are more likely to be influenced by other people in that center. So mind you, I'm not very peer pressure never has really worked on me except for in that one area of my life, which is around power and control. So it is very fitting then for me to have been born literally, I'm not kidding you, literally into a cult, okay? To a woman who is undiagnosed borderline. And if you know anything about cluster B personalities, they thrive. Cluster Bs absolutely thrive on power games and on control and manipulation. So this is, and mind you, this is my last lifetime, and I'm fully aware of that, and I don't need any consolation or something. Believe me, I'm grateful, okay? That being said, I understand that in this life, that is like, that's kind of the final frontier of this lifetime for me, okay? Is like not like becoming domineering or something like that, but rather like not allowing my worth and my self-worth to be influenced by other people's perception of me. And mind you, this has been very interesting, zooming in for no reason. This has been very interesting I'm saying trying as if like I've been trying to start a business. I haven't been trying to start anything, by the way. Like this ego of Mistee did not set out to be practicing mediumship by any, I mean, honestly, like I wish that I'm trying to like find a way to get people to understand that like I've never embodied this aspect of my life. Like the only people in my life that know that I have this gift or ability are very, very close friends of mine. Not my immediate family. Like I didn't grow up going to spiritual events or working or learning to open my intuition, those kinds of nothing. Part of my Saturn return, I began to experience my spiritual abilities and was experiencing things that I could not explain as someone who because I had been born in a cult, when my mother left the cult, she then, because she is borderline, okay, and she has a propensity for black and white thinking and black and white systems. Mind you, I'm autistic. So there's a lot of freaking commonalities between autistic people and borderline people. And before being diagnosed autistic, I was genuinely like, I might have borderline. I don't. Turns out I don't. But one of the similarities is black and white thinking. Hold on, I gotta sit down. Is black and white thinking. And so, of course, this woman who birthed me, gosh, why am I so zoomed in? This woman who birthed me then went from being in a cult, literally, it's called Church Universal Triumphant. You can look it up. It's one of the few cults that was led by a woman. She essentially took it over. Her name was Elizabeth Clare Prophet, which like, wow, what a name to then become a leader of a cult. But she took it over after her husband died. And that's why I was born in Montana, is because my maternal grandmother was living in the state of Washington, somehow caught wind of this cult and divorced my grandpa and moved my biological mother and her siblings a couple states over to go literally live in and build bomb shelters and amass massive amounts of weapons. So, kudos to them. And that's why I was born in literal bumfuck Livingston, Montana, okay? To two people, my biological father, okay, who I did not know existed until I was 25. That's a whole other freaking saga. But my biological father, same thing. His mom did the exact same thing, moved across the country to just live in bomb shelters and prepare for the end of the world. And then those two met up because he was my mom's drug dealer. Literally, I'm not even freaking playing right now. Perfect. Love it. And then I was conceived. God, what an origin story. Just like, what the hell is that? So then, after my biological mother, she leaves this cult. But then, because she has this black and white thinking pattern going on, she then just joins another very strict black and white system, which was just a very conservative Christian church called the Church of Christ. So that was I was a church kid. I not only was a church kid, I was like baptized in the church. And like we considered ourselves, this is so messed up, okay? But we considered ourselves like elite Christians. Like we didn't even think that other Christians were going to heaven because we had a very specific way that you had to be baptized. And if you were not baptized in this way, which you weren't if you weren't a part of this church, then you were not going to heaven, by the way. So this was the church that I grew up in. Meanwhile, like in the back of my head, my biological mother, her siblings, they all had this like trauma around this cult. My only experience with spirituality in my household growing up, it was demonized because we were a part of this very conservative Christian church. I wasn't even allowed to read Harry Potter as a kid because my biological mother said it was like witchcraft and of the devil. So that makes perfect sense that like I'm now, what am I doing? It's literally the perfect storm of like being born into a family and into a system that would be so against everything that I unknowingly am or was. Unknowingly, I know it now, but I didn't know then what I know now about myself, which is that I can talk to dead people, I can communicate with obviously living people, but like living people's dimensional selves, which is a real trip. It didn't even occur to me that was abnormal. I did a reading with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and at the end of it, she was like, her eyes were wide, and she was like, I didn't know. She was like, I assumed that we would talk with my deceased loved one, but I had no idea that you were going to be able to communicate with me to my daughter who was alive. And I was like, yeah. What? Like, of course, but that's just it. It's like I don't have a background in spirituality. My background in spirituality was like, that is of the devil, and you are going to hell if you even watch Pokemon. You're literally going to hell because that's witchcraft somehow. I don't know. Also, what the hell is witchcraft other than a means to subjugate women and their power and force them to second guess their intuition, which by the way is an abuse. That's abuse 101. Abuse 101, again, the power control dynamics. Okay, this is like fucking special interest level here, okay? All you have to do when you're attempting to manipulate or abuse somebody is get them to begin to second guess themselves chronically. Then you don't even then you can just take the back seat because they will push that button themselves. You just like screw it on there and then you push it every once in a while, but eventually they'll start doing it themselves. And I believe that happens on a macro level, like on a systems level, where we just like, even in the medical industry, right? Like I am somebody who, if you've watched some of my other posts, I have some bizarre medical issues going on, and not a single Western doctor or Western lab can tell me what is wrong, right? And luckily, I have a strong enough sense of self that I don't let these doctors freaking push me around and tell me that it's not real, because I know it's real. But that is absolutely what they would like to do, is convince me that I'm feeling nothing and that these symptoms actually aren't happening. I'm like, they're like, yeah, but you look so healthy. And I'm like, yeah, well, looks can be fucking deceiving. Figure it out, you dummy. And then, again, as somebody who grew up in, again, this like black and white Christian church, black and white household, with my mother being undiagnosed borderline, my adoptive father, who I never call him my adoptive father, but my adoptive father, I can't say he's a narcissist because I kind of feel like that's just so overused that I don't even want to use it, but he 100 he 100% has narcissistic traits. Like, without a stranger could have a 5-second conversation with that man and be like, yeah, there's something is off there. Okay, so that was the dynamic I grew up in, while like the only spiritual like, what is the word I'm looking for? The only spiritual exposure I had to anything outside of this like very conservative Christian reality was listening to my uncle and my biological mother just like talk trash on spiritualists, even on things like yoga. Like, my biological mother threw a fit when I wanted to take a yoga class. Like, fucking lost her goddamn marbles. Because what exactly is gonna fucking happen while I'm in downward dog? Nothing worse than the abuse she was putting us through at home, by the way. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. So there's that. And, oh God, what was I gonna say about that? Hold on a second, let me think. Oh, and channeling. I didn't know what channeling was, other than I had heard, as I said, like, my biological mother and my uncle like talk shit on people who claim to be channels, because obviously this woman who is leading this cult, Elizabeth Clare Prophet, which, like, what an incredible name to be a cult leader. Your last name is Prophet? That's incredible. So she was a channeler, and that was my only exposure to spirituality. And then my brother died when I was 20 and he was 19, and we were very close. We honestly felt closer to twins than we did siblings. I mean, we're obviously siblings, but we just felt very close. And at this time, I was still a part. I was not just a part of, I cannot emphasize this enough, I was like leading women's groups, girls groups, whatever. I was leading we sang a cappella, because if you didn't sing a cappella, like if you sang church hymns with musicians, also going to hell, straight to hell. Wild. I even was in a relationship with the assistant preacher or pastor. I can't remember what we called him or what he called himself. And he wasn't old. He was like 5 years or something like that older than me. But like in hindsight, it's pretty messed up, because I was like 18 or 19 maybe when we started seeing each other. And he was obviously like in his mid-20s. So yeah, messed up, but whatever. Like, I was embedded in this system when my brother died. And then after my brother died, I genuinely thought that it was going to bring me, I literally thought to myself verbatim, I remember thinking, this is going to bring me so much closer to God. Because in my brain, which had a very two-dimensional, I was 20, okay, what did I know? Nothing, fucking nothing. I literally was like this, and inadvertently it has, because after my brother died, I left the church. And by left, I mean like, I didn't know I was autistic, but I fucking lost it. Like, I burned every bridge. I came about this close to literally burning down that fucking building. I fucking lost it. I burned every bridge. I cheated on the pastor. I then went on to do every drug I possibly could under the sun, because I was like, well, nothing matters. Nothing matters. I fell into complete nihilism, where nothing mattered. Not in the fun way, like nothing matters. No, it was like nothing matters. We're all gonna die. I'm just biding my fucking time for that to happen. That's where I was at until my mid-20s. Even in my mid-20s, I was living in Philadelphia. I was like pursuing this hyper intellectual reality. I was working case management, which, by the way, I have still been doing for a very long time. I was dating somebody then, and my social circle was like very kind of like elitist. Like, they were just very interested in again, like climbing these social hierarchies, having a bunch of money, having a bunch of power. To be fair, they did have a bunch of money, and they were very affluential people that I was like spending time with on the East Coast, okay? And mind you, I am not, and I did not. I literally grew up in a trailer home, okay? So round peg in a square hole situation. Didn't really fit in there as much as I wanted to. And yeah, was just like trying oh goodness gracious, what the hell. I was trying my best to like be this hyper rational person, but what kept happening, I'm also an artist, I'm a painter. In my closet behind me is like, I'll just show you. I have so many paintings in there. I'm actually applying for a painting space on Craigslist right now because I can't, my current apartment is like way too small to paint in. Anyways, so yeah, I'm an artist, but at that time I had stopped painting because after my brother died, I was like, well, nothing matters. I just need to be hyper productive, hyper realistic, and nothing fucking matters. And so I just stopped painting. I stopped making art. It like actually breaks my heart to think about. I have very few regrets in my life. Oh my freaking goodness gracious. I have very few regrets in my life, and that is one of the few, is that I had stopped making art. That's a real freaking bummer to me, by the way. So from about 20 and then all the way up until I was about 26, that was right before the start of my my Saturn return. And I was still in a space where I had like stopped using drugs because I was like I wasn't like I was escaping through hyperrationalism. I wasn't trying to escape via substances anymore, okay? Something was brewing inside me that was like, if I don't start making art again, I will slowly die. Like I'm slowly going to, if I hadn't already, I was like, I am slowly going to begin to die. And I don't know how else to explain that. I think if you'll understand that if you are an artist. If you're not an artist, I don't know. There's probably other things that other people experience akin to that. Like when there's something that your energy body or soul just like needs you to do and you don't do it, I think it will literally kill you. So I quit my career of fucking course. Again, the whole black and white thinking thing. Quit my career, I was like auditing some art classes because like there was like issues with what state I was a resident in or something. So I like wasn't getting graded for these, but I was just like going to a bunch of art classes and was serving at night. So I was like a server at night, taking art classes during the day, and then somehow like in this whole mix, as I started making art, so it's like I started to make art, but then I also entered into a relationship with somebody that I would later realize that, and I didn't believe in past lives. I remember on he and I's first date, we were talking about dreams, like the thing you have when you're sleeping. And I remember saying to him, I was like, yeah, I don't think that dreams have any meaning, because I'm still living in this world of like nothing has any fucking meaning. I was like, yeah, I don't think that dreams have any meaning. I think that they're just a way for your brain to categorize the events of the day. And he was like kind of aghast. He was like, I don't know why you would say that. Like, clearly they have meaning. And then he was the person who introduced me to what would become one of the longest running special interests of my life, which was archetypes, Carl Jung, Joseph Campbell, the hero story, Jordan Peterson, all of those white men, basically. Okay, there's other female authors that I have since gotten into that are along that similar trajectory, but that he, being in this relationship with him, opened up meaning in my life again. Not because our relationship was healthy or good or efficacious for either of us, because it fucking wasn't. Yeah, so it's not that the relationship was like, oh, thank God I found my no, I knew that it was an unhealthy relationship. I knew our dynamic was fucked up. But I also knew, and I can't, like, as much as I would love to exclude this person from my soul awakening story, I actually can't, unfortunately, because I would fucking love to, because he was a fucking nightmare. He literally did jail time for stalking me. Like, if you think that I don't want to fucking include this person in this origin story at all. I wish that it had happened differently, but I can't fucking lie. He was a part of it, okay? But again, not because the relationship was healthy. And I'm telling you right now, if you are in an unhealthy relationship, but there's other positive things that you're getting from that relationship, that doesn't mean to stay in the relationship. Like, even I knew, and again, challenging my black and white thinking as an autistic person, even I knew that I needed to not be with him. I knew, just, even though like I was being exposed to all of these ideas that were literally bringing the color and life back to my life, I also knew that like this isn't it. Like, this isn't my person. I can't be in a fucking relationship with this person. So like, don't take what I'm saying as like, oh, it's a intense, it was one of those relationships where it's like, when we're good, we're really good, but when we're bad, we're really bad. And by the way, I'm fucking done with that behavior. Okay. So that was, so mind you, and he was a musician, so like an artist in a different way. And so we both had this like creative thing going on, and through me, and he was extremely supportive of me pursuing my artistic endeavors. Like, shockingly, it was like confusing, to be honest with you. He was like, oh, I don't really know what that, like, overly enthusiastic, so maybe it was just like a front he was putting on or something. I don't fucking know, but he was like extremely supportive of me pursuing my creative endeavors, okay, which was great for me. It was good for me to have that in my life. But then simultaneously, because he and I had I'm gonna close this. Because he and I had so many past lives together, and I didn't know this then, but I know this now. We had a lot of unfinished business. We had some loose ends to tie up. So this lifetime and this relationship was really fucking intense. It was short. It was like less than 8 months or something. It was short, but it was super fucking intense because we just had a lot that we had to clear up, okay? And we did do that, and I'm grateful, and I'll never hear or see from that person ever fucking again, thank God. But I had to include him in this story because he was a part of it. And because we'd had so many past lifetimes together, honestly, being in close proximity to him woke up my spiritual inclinations, because it was one of the first times that I had been in a relationship with somebody other than my biological mother, by the way, that I've had a significant number of past lives with. And just like the act of being exposed to that person and that relationship dynamic, like it woke up like a muscle memory in me of like who the fuck I was. And honestly, and for him too, like I know I had the same impact on him. Like, we were both having this like spiritual kind of awakening together at the same fucking time, while also being horrible for each other on an egoic level. It was very confusing and very fucking complex, and I'm super proud of myself for getting the fuck out of it, because I think that a lot of people would have been like, oh, but we're having all of these intense spiritual experiences, that must mean he's the one for me. No, absolutely fucking not. Like, even when I'm having these intense spiritual experiences with him, I still knew that he was not the keeper of those experiences. I am the magic. Like, I'm gonna bring that with me wherever I go, wherever I am. Sorry, my face is kind of shiny right now. That's distracting me. So then after that, the whole restraining order thing kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. So I moved out of state again, go figure. And then while I'm living out of state, I was then able, I'm actually going to pause because I'm pretty tired. I'm going to share this next part another time. Pausing here. Signing off here.